Iranian faces death penalty for insulting Islam. In Iran, 32-year-old Hassan Zard faces the death penalty over online activities deemed to insult Islam. Zard, a motor courier from Galikesh working in Tehran, was detained by the IRGC's intelligence agents. Charged with insulting Islam, the Islamic Republic's leader, and blasphemy, his predicament stems from expressing frustrations about Iran on Instagram. A source close to Zard emphasizes the urgency and injustice of the situation. Quote, please don't let them commit their crime in silence before it's too late. The people of Iran should know for which imaginary crimes young people are being killed. Zard's arrest occurred during a visit to the prosecutor's office in Galikesh seeking updates on his stolen motorcycle case. The source reflects on the plight, on his plight, saying, quote, only God knows what awaits people like him who endure deprivation and suffering. So here is the background on this case. There is this man, Hassan, and he's 32. He works basically doing motor deliveries around his town. And what happened was that his motorcycle was stolen. And so he went to the authorities to go ask them about the update on this case, maybe file some more information, see if they found anything. Basically, just doing what he has to do to try to get his job back, right? And when he went to go into the authorities' office, that's when they nabbed him and detained him, and they've accused him of blasphemy, essentially. I've seen different sources saying that there's different things that so some just say general blasphemy, some say insult to Islam, some sources say like insult to Islamic sentiments or culture, and then some say that it's actually an insult to the prophet. Um, so there's and we don't know what these alleged insults are, if there are any at all. If there even are any at all. So let's be clear. Um, and the thing is that all of the things that he has been charged with so far, they carry the death penalty. So he is facing charges that carry the death penalty. As of the updates that I'm aware of so far, he has not been charged yet, but he has been imprisoned and tortured for a number of weeks now. And I mean, we don't have to say that this is horrible and completely insane and unjustified. But that's how easy it is for the Islamic Republic to come after you.
This is insane.
Yeah. And we need to talk about this on two levels. One, the level of there's a high probability that there is absolutely no credible evidence against him, because they will make up these charges against people all the time. One, because they believe that it will turn sympathies against the accused in the population. We've seen that that actually doesn't work very well in Iran, as of especially over the past 2 years. But they also can literally just make up these charges against you because they know that they carry the death penalty just to get rid of you, right? And so, for example,
Mm.
what they did with the a civilian protester, Javad Ruhi, was they accused him of burning a Quran in the middle of the Masa Amini uprising and attacking the police station. There's no evidence of any of this. Literally, we only have video footage of him dancing in the street in the middle of a protest. And they sentenced him to death for blasphemy, for desecration, over allegedly burning this Quran, where there's no evidence of. There was a court that actually acquitted him of this, and while the prosecutors were appealing his sentence, his ruling, he died under torture, right? Over this thing that there's this blasphemous thing that there's no evidence of. So that needs to be discussed on that first level, right? That there's a high probability that this is all BS. Okay. Let's say that it actually is true. Let's say that he actually did do what they allege against him, which we have no evidence of so far. He shouldn't be murdered over it. Blasphemy is not a crime. There's no justification for murdering this man by hanging him to death so that he suffocates instead of snapping his neck, right? Because that's how they do it in Iran, lest we forget. For an insult, for an offense. Again, guys, this is not even reaching the level of desecration. This is not even reaching the level of destroying the Quran, which is, what most people think of as the most extreme. This is just mere insult to either a tradition or sentiments or actually to the prophet. It's not entirely clear, right? Blasphemy. And let's also remember that one of the charges is insult to the supreme leader of the Islamic Republic, aka the Khosul known as Khamenei. Because then when people think of this blasphemy or how could you insult the honor of our prophet, blah blah blah, like it's not even reaching the level of destroying the Quran, which most people find the most offensive, right? Even if it was that, even if it did reach that level, there is no reason to take a man's life over some arbitrarily important pieces of paper. It's never going to be justified. Arbitrarily, easily reproducible pieces of paper.
Mhm.
For offense, for honor, for insult. It's medieval. It's irregular. This is an abnormal state. And this is what I wish more people understood about dealing with the Islamic Republic of Iran and other nations that enforce these kinds of punishments. Is we are dealing with abnormal states instituting medieval style punishments. Because don't forget that the Islamic Republic literally implements eye for an eye. Where if you're involved with an incident between two civilians and someone gets blinded, you can be prosecuted and the state will now intervene to blind you, as has happened in the past. If you steal and get caught, the state will intervene to amputate your fingers. We covered a case of that not too long ago. This is an abnormal state and abnormal actors. So I want people to be aware of that when people talk about negotiations and normalizations of relationships and all that shit. Ooh, thank you for pulling that up, Armin.
Yeah, I'm actually going to post the link to this tweet I made a couple of days ago about this. So the link is now in the live chat. If you guys want to raise awareness about this, please go ahead, go to the link and retweet this. I do mention in my tweet that the more people speak out about him, the less likely he is to be executed. A lot of people make light of this and say it's not true, and the Islamic Republic in Iran will execute anyone they want, regardless of the pressure. That is not true. Do not believe that. International pressure and social media campaigns have worked. We have seen them work. It doesn't work as much as we hope, but it has some effect. It doesn't have a lot of effect, but it has some effect. There has been times where it made a difference. We do see the Islamic Republic um, not executing people who are very famous and have a lot of support, even though they are much more problematic for the Islamic Republic. The level of attention they get and the level of fame that they have and the level of support they have on social media makes the Islamic Republic not kill some people because of the fear of the backlash. The power of the people is increasing in Iran relative to the government. And the Islamic Republic is afraid of its people. And that's why when there is mass support for a certain person, the chances of them being executed does get less. It does have an influence. It's not like they can do anything they want. They are afraid of the people. So you using these hashtags or just retweeting the tweet that I just posted for you has some small effect. It is small, but it is something. So if you can just spend a few seconds to go and retweet this or make your own, or just copy these hashtags and make your own tweet,
Mhm.
whatever is more convenient. Yeah.
Farnaz is saying not fingers amputate hands. It's Sharia law. No, what the Islamic Republic does, we covered a case of this like less than a year ago. I mean, it's on a case by case basis, but what they were doing was they were going to amputate the fingers of a man who was caught convicted for stealing. And then they said, this is so barbaric. This is so barbaric. Again, remember that this is done in a supposedly medical setting, a supposed medical setting, right? Was that, hey, we're going to amputate your fingers, okay? But if you can pay us, we will put your fingers on ice and then hire a surgeon to sew your fingers back on. If you can pay us.
They make money from it. So they're like, they cut your
Yeah.
fingers off, and they were like, how could we make money from this? They're like, okay, we will cut your fingers, but if you pay us money, we will sew it back. And they have turned in the Quranic amputation, into a money making machine for them. Even then, it's unbelievable. Yeah,
It's
it's
so
crazy.
crazy. And again, this is supposedly a medical setting. And again, this is a man who was convicted for petty theft. You think he can afford to pay you the extortion money to get his fingers sewn back on after you amputated them? It's insane. And then not only that, well, I believe if my memory is serving me correctly, the last case that we covered of that happened, um, he was not able to pay to get his fingers sewn back on. And even though this happened again in a quote unquote medical setting, he almost died due to fever and infection after they amputated his fingers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone in the live has just like, wow. Yeah, no, that's a
Yeah.
real thing, guys, that happened like in the past year. So this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying these are not normal actors. This is medieval.
Okay.
I'm getting real
So
heated.
I'm
Crap.
good. Yeah, no, you should. And thank you, Susie. I think you add to, I think your frustration and your anger is so much needed in this live stream, because a lot of people want to express that. And when you do it, a lot of people appreciate that, because you're channeling their frustrations. They see your voice is just coming. It's just representative of what they want, other people want to say, but they can. Oh, we got thank you, Queen. By the way, before we get look at the super chats, Queen said that she or he went and
Thank you,
retweeted.
Queen. It means a
Thank
lot.
you.
Like everyone
Yeah.
that put even a little bit of light on these situations, it does make a difference. Because imagine if that was you or your brother, you would want people to tweet it, even if they thought it meant nothing. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Um, so we have a few super chats. Rami Jun gave us some Turkish lira. Thank you. Saying Armin, an Iranian friend of mine in Iran, told me almost 80% are non-religious and don't support the regime, and only about 20% are religious Shia who support it. Is this true or over the top? The
It's
percentages are a
actually
little
less.
the percentages are a little
less
bit different, but it's pretty close.
it's less. I mean, we have scientific polls for this.
Yeah.
It's less than 20%. It's not over the top.
Well,
The
less than
support.
20%. What? Because the only thing is that this question is conflating two things. It's conflating
Yes.
being non-religious with not supporting the regime and being religious with supporting the regime. And
Yeah, it's not
actually,
a.
it's not that simple.
Yes.
So in terms of people who are non-religious, what I remember correctly from the polls from Gaman, the Gaman Institute, is that it's roughly only 32% of the country are religious Shias. Many others have a vague belief in God or spirituality, but when asked about their specific beliefs, those beliefs are such that they
Okay.
squarely put them outside the fold of Islam, if that makes sense. And then I think I can't remember what the percentage was for self-declared atheists or non-religious. But the vast majority, only 32% were actually could be fit as Shia, right?
Okay.
Um, and then in terms of
I,
governmental support, it's yeah, like less than 20% that actually support the government.
depends on what you mean. Well, this
Yeah.
government or any Islamic government. So let me show you the numbers really quickly. So we
We
can
come
see
ready
that,
with the stats.
yeah, this is a scientific poll, by the way, right? So Shia Muslims are now 32% of Iran. So much less than what people think, right? Shia is 32%. If you
I
add
am
up all the
so
other,
proud that I remembered that percentage exactly, and I haven't looked at this in years. I'm sorry, I just had to brag.
yes. So if you add up all the Muslims together, it adds up to less than 50%, which means that Iran is now a Muslim minority country. It's not a Muslim majority country. Iran is a Muslim minority country, right? And if you look at this number here, around half of the country has left a religion. By the way, this is not a good translation. If you look at the Persian, they didn't go to non-religious; they went to no religion, right? So if you look at the Persian wording of the question, so around half of Iranians have went from being religious to going to having no religion at all within one generation, which is insane. This has never happened in the history of mankind ever anywhere with this large number of more than 80 million people in one generation just leaving religion has never happened anywhere in the world, and this is the first time. So with regards to support for the Islamic Republic, so this is a little bit misleading, because so you can see 33% of Iranians want a secular republic, 20% of them want a constitutional monarchy, 20% didn't answer or didn't know enough. So it says 22% want an Islamic republic, but you have to understand they want an Islamic republic, not necessarily this Islamic republic, because there are a lot of people in Iran who still want an Islamic republic, but not the current regime. They think like the current regime ruined the idea. Like they are so dissatisfied with, even though they support the idea of having an Islamic Republic, they think the current regime ruined the reputation of having an Islamic Republic. So yeah, 20%, around 20% want an Islamic Republic. The highest number goes for a secular republic, which is and again, by the way, constitutional monarchists also want their constitutional monarchy to be secular. So this secular and this secular adds up together. They're all secular, right? Um, so only 20%, only 22% of the people in the country want their government to be Islamic. And again, I would say a lot of these people don't want specifically this regime. Yeah. So there's that. Those are the numbers. What do you
No,
guys
but
think
that
about this?
the most one of the most recent Gaman Institute polls had more detailed um statistics asking questions about how you want the government to be or how do you feel about the current government. And if you combined the people saying that you want a hard barandas versus and the people that wanted a soft barandas, meaning toppling or overthrow, then it was
Right.
over 75%. I remember because I added up these numbers myself like last year.
Ooh. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So if we're
Okay.
talking
Yeah.
about,
Yeah.
yeah, like religious,
Yeah.
it's like Shia religious, it's only 32%. And then on a separate question, how many people support the current government or do not have an opinion, because that's the other aspect of the poll, it was like less than 25%. Oh, Rami is saying
Yeah.
thank you guys. Great answer. Oh, thank you, Rami.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I was trying to find
Um,
that a number that you were talking about right away, but I'm not going to be able to do that.
yeah, you're gonna
What
have
do
to
you think
take
of
my
the
word
following?
for it.
Ooh.
Um, hmm.
Oh, here. Actually, I mean, actually, let me show you this number right here. So, what do you think of the following political leaders of Iran's modern history? So if you look at Ali Khamenei,
Mm.
which is the current supreme leader, you get 62% very unfavorable. So 62%, and you have someone unfavorable. So overall, like 66. So 66% of Iranians look at the current supreme leader of Iran as unfavorable, with most of them being very unfavorable. Yeah. So there's that.
Oh, the
That should tell you
support for
something.
Mossadegh is not as much as I thought it would be. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
interessante.
Anyway. Mhm. We
Okay.
have
Oh,
more
shoot. We got a few more super chats. We got a super sticker from Sakai. Thank you, Sakai. GJ
Thank
gave
you.
us a super chat saying, guys, you often describe Iran's hanging process quite graphically. YouTubers have woken up in the morning notified of 3 strikes against 3 of their videos, and their channels were deleted for less. I disagree.
What?
Usually, those are situations where they violated a different terms of service.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
have to agree with it or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Knickerbreaker gave us a super chat. Thank you, saying if you're not on Twitter, AR has a bot on Mastodon. I have no idea what this means.
If you're not on Twitter, AR has a bot on I don't know either.
Okay, well, we have a cryptic
But thank you.
message. Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you
And
for this.
Queen Nick just gave us a super chat. Thank you. Saying, did you hear that the UK is the top country for female hymen reconstruction for the Islamic world? It's shocking and disgusting. Youngest was 10 years old. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Yeah, they need legislation against that. They definitely need legislation against that. I'm pretty sure France banned those kinds of procedures. And as they should. As they should.
Are you hitting at the table? I'm hearing a lot of boom boom sounds.
Oh, I think I might be bumping my mic, sorry. Okay. Oh, and we just got another super chat. We got 30 shekels saying from Noah. Thank you, Noah. Oh. Noah is saying Iranians helped my father and his family escape from Iraq to Israel in 1965. I will always be grateful to Iranians, and I wish that one day I can return the favor to them for saving my family. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you, Noah, for sharing that story. I like that.
I like the cute puppy face you make when you get emotional. It's very adorable. Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.